Hello, my loves. I'm Ellie Frost. I'm a coach, strategist, healer, mentor, and guide for visionary leaders, entrepreneurs, personality led brands, anyone doing anything innovative on the planet, or just seeking to monetize who they are, what they love, not just seeking to monetize who they are and what they love and their full self and soul, what I call full self and soul expression, right? Really be fully expressed in who you are in the world. And I'm obsessed with the topic of trauma because for years I've not only been a strategist for some of the leading brands on the planet, personality-led brands in particular, but also been a healer and looking at a manifestation teacher and looking at why do things manifest for some people and not for others, and what's the truth behind all of this. And what I've found and seen and can clear with people is it's the level of trauma you have that will often depend on how fast you'll manifest anything in your life and move towards your dreams. Now, people don't understand trauma. Trauma, in my definition, doesn't have to be what you might think of as a big event. Yeah? It can be small times where something has jarred you energetically and subconsciously to make an energetic decision related to who you are and what you get to do, be, and have. It can be a big event or a perceived big event, but it doesn't have to be. It's what changes our energy field. Yeah. So I'll give you an example of this. Well, actually, before I go into that, as children, we use our imagination, we dream, we think of things, and we expect them to come into our lives. And I believe that we're meant to be like that, that we're meant to kind of love our visions into being, that the ideas and inspirations we have are meant for us. What's in your heart to do, be, and have is totally for you in the universe, right? We're meant to play in co-creation with the quantum field, the unlimited field, our potential, and move towards it, yeah? And we have an ability to do that very, very powerfully. But any kind of trauma in our field means that we've made a decision, not often consciously, of how life gets to work for us, who we are, and what we get to do, be, and have, basically, who we are and what we get to have. And we don't see that, yeah? But the thing is, I talk a lot about energetic set points with people. Whatever our set point is subconsciously running the show. Your energetic set point will be it's not even a blueprint, it's a set point energetically to how much money you think you can have, how good the quality of your relationships are, the quality of your relationship with your body, with yourself, with your work, right? And if we don't heal the trauma, it won't matter what you do. Often this subconscious is running the show and it will justify everything to you, but you will be on autopilot making moves to keep you in these energetic parameters, these limitations, yeah? So I'm saying that unhealed trauma leads to perceived limitations. Let me give you a light example. So say as a child, right, you experienced something, or you were just quiet by nature, and you were called shy. I would call that unhealed trauma, because if you go for the rest of your life deciding you're shy when actually you want to express yourself, maybe that isn't necessarily true. Yeah, but it's just a piece that you've adopted as your identity, which is an unhealed piece of trauma if you want to now decide to be less shy, whatever you think shy is. Same as if a child is young and told that they're not funny, they can grow up their whole lives believing that they're not funny and hold back on exploring their sense of humour, yeah? But really, it's the unhealed trauma that is leading them to that conclusion, because we can all develop it. I've met comedians who are really funny, but they were told they were not funny as children, and that unhealed trauma started running their lives. So they'd do shows and they wouldn't tell good jokes. They weren't opening to their gifts and to their genius, because the trauma will run the show unless you clear it. I do trauma release sessions, which I clear this in your field because it's your subconscious on autopilot energetic decisions. I believe you're meant to be in your heart, decide how much money you want, decide what life you want, and it's meant to flow to you. And when you clear trauma, literally that's what happens to my clients. Like suddenly the things they couldn't get themselves to do because the resistance was so hard, even when it comes to, when it becomes things like losing weight or going out in the world, going on dates. When they couldn't connect to their vision, they kind of knew who they were, what they wanted at one point, and then maybe they got disappointed or traumatized because things weren't working and they couldn't feel in flow anymore. When you can't feel in flow, there's unhealed trauma to resolve, yeah? My trauma release sessions replace for people often years of therapy. Yeah, they're 555, which if you think that's expensive, that's an absolute joke, considering how people spend years trying to resolve this stuff. And when you clear the trauma, you're like, people always, like when I've done a trauma release, they'll always like message me afterwards and be like, oh my gosh, like, you know, I'm so connected to who I am and my vision, and everything's flowing because a piece has been unlocked. The thing that's in the way, when I do this with people, it's painless. You don't get re-traumatized. I don't take you back into the energetic of your pain, actually. I just see what it is and clear it. I've got a very unique way of doing it. It's a channeled modality that I've developed that is insane, really, like in terms of like, it's a bit like having some kind of energetic surgery where I'm just removing the trauma from your field using source energy. But what is so fantastic is the quickest way to break through is to clear the trauma. It's the when we've got unhealed trauma, yeah, we get blind spots because they're keeping us on this track. Trauma literally freezes you in a pattern. And so, like, I've got clients now who, you know, will do the strategy and they know the strategy, but they can't go forward until we clear the trauma because the thing they're resisting is energetic, you know. It could be, you know, if I grow my brand, I'm going to get bullied. That was one for me. It could be, I am scared to let go of control because when I've trusted people before, you know, they've let me down, or if I don't control it, everything falls apart. Now, we don't think that links to us. Well, what we miss is that until you clear the trauma, you're not going to have the breakthrough ideas that will expand you because you're actually subconsciously choosing to stay in the pattern. Even with money, yeah? Money comes from, one level of money is about having a new idea, yeah? But you won't see that possibility for more wealth. You won't attract the opportunities for it if the energetic set point is still responding to the unhealed trauma. So all of my courses do energy activations and clearings. They're a bit like meditations. They're things that you listen to and they speak to your conscious, subconscious and superconscious to release the trauma and reprogram your mind in alignment with your highest vision and outcomes. They're extremely powerful. So every course I do, Elevate You, Feminine Power, Money Magic, Living from Abundance and Visionary to Visionary, not only gives you the strategies, but also clears the energetic blocks. Because with the unhealed trauma, you will never see past or easily go past where you are. Yeah, it's not that it has to take time, it takes alignment, but until resistance is cleared, and resistance is all about the level of unhealed trauma. Now, trauma is carried generationally. It's not just what we experience in this lifetime, it's also in our lineage, it's in our DNA, like our features are. So is our consciousness and in the collective. I'm really mindful right now, you know, some of the advertisements I see on the television and stuff, and on the internet, they're very traumatizing for people, you know, and like keeping us in any kind of fear is not a good idea because everything is affecting our subconscious mind. So I would recommend that you are mindful about what you expose yourself to. I'm all for like connecting to humanity and thinking as a collective, in unity, and actually changing our society to do things in human-focused ways. I believe business is a force for change in the world, and we can use it to build a much better society. But if we are exposed to things that keep re-traumatizing us, yeah, our subconscious picks up on it and decides the world's a scary place. Remember I said, like, unhealed trauma tells us who we are, what we get to do, be and have, and how life responds to us. Yeah, basically. If we believe that it's really scary to go ahead and evolve and follow our dreams, then we're going to protect ourselves from that. And some of the messages, you know, some of the advertisements, I don't think should even be allowed to be there, because it should be consensual what we put into our minds. You know, some things are extremely triggering, and there's not, well, not getting into the debate on that. Just be mindful about what you feed yourself. Anything that you don't subconsciously reject, your subconscious accepts. Yeah. So we've got to be very mindful of this. Our minds are a brilliant asset, but we want to treat them like, you know, fertile soil that we want to plant the most beautiful garden on. What we put into our mind matters. What you say out of your mouth matters. This is how we use our energy, our life force energy, to create in the world. So contact me about trauma release sessions and the programs I've got, because they are such a complete thing in that I'm giving you strategies, but I'm also clearing what's in your way. And actually, when you clear what's in your way, you naturally move towards everything that it is that you want. Yeah, it's the unhealed trauma that makes you feel limited, that takes you away from who you really are at source, which is an unlimited, like, fraction of God on the planet, here as a powerful creator, here to harness and manifest everything that you want to do, be, and have. It's meant for you. Just got to clear the things in the way. It's not hard. I do it extremely well with people. You can do it well in yourself as well. You can start being mindful in your daily life of the decisions you're making every single day when something triggers you, or when you tell yourself no, or how you talk yourself out of things. That will tell you where you've got trauma that needs to be healed. So sending you a lot of love. Happy Monday. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions. Lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon.